What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be doing a little Dokkan Day overview. Oh my goodness, I am so gassed right now. I do not have enough left in the tank for this. Okie doke. So I figured we would go ahead and do a Dokkan Day update. We've skipped the last few Dokkan Days here for a couple of different reasons. I've had a lot of things going on in my personal life between moving houses and studying for a very important exam that was going to allow me a promotion opportunity at my job. A couple of, those are the main things. Few other just details in my personal life that were kind of getting in the way of the YouTube grind. So, prioritizing Dokkan Day and stuff wasn't really at the top of my list, though I was still grinding. I wasn't, setting aside that time to make sure that I also put out content for you guys, unfortunately, but I figured we would go ahead and do it this time. The other reason why I haven't bothered to put out, where I didn't really feel it was super necessary to go out of my way to put out these Dokkan Day videos is because there hasn't really been anything going on for Dokkan Day, right? One thing is, after the 10th anniversary year ended, we stopped getting the tickets as a part of the, missions that we would get for Dokkan Day along with we'd get half from the new Seriously Serious All Out Battle stage, and then we'd get the other half from Dokkan Day, and then we'd be able to do some premium summons on whatever new banner was out at the time. And that isn't a thing anymore. So now we're just getting, little random replacement stuff instead. So, for the 11th anniversary, what they've been doing for us is giving us the anniversary coins. So, if we go ahead and look over at the missions, in place of where those tickets normally would be. I did already clear all the missions. Yeah, they're right here. So in place of all of those tickets, we're just getting coins instead, right? So we did get quite a few of these coins, which is a little bit of a bummer, in my opinion, just because there's not a whole lot that I can actually do with these coins. I believe you get 20 coins from each of these missions here, so a total of 100 is what we could earn. And I actually don't have too much of a use case for these coins anymore. Maybe I'm mistaken about that. Maybe. So I already bought all the Kais that were at the top here. And then I bought all the potential orbs. That was the very first thing that I got, right? All the potential orbs are gone out of here. I bought all the Kais. And then I bought all the meat. There was a very, very limited amount of meat. It was like 5 large meat or something like that you could get. And that was just it. And then, yeah, basically everything else here I don't need, right? Because previously I had already collected a 1 in every slot for all of the... anniversary login cards and all of the worldwide special celebration units that are in here. I've fully finished collecting any of the copies that I need of any of that stuff. And now, since we are moving on to new days with the account, I am going to be, unfortunately, babaing a lot of these cards. So any of the ones that are not actually the top copies, I'm going to be getting rid of. And this one, in fact, I did already get rid of because of when the ROF Blues got their Easy A. I needed to do some super attack leveling for them, so rather than actually sit there and farm characters, I just took characters that out of my box that are on, a tag I have set aside for units that I will eventually be babaying to replace with better, more lucrative power level characters, and I have already fed them in. So this is an example of one of those units that's already gone away. So chipping away at that little by little. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later in the video here. But yeah, so for that reason, I don't really need any of these characters now, right? So I guess these 3 items right here you see on screen are the only thing that I can actually do anything with. Aside from that, it's just going to be, I guess, buying copies of these medals to just increase my medal counts, because there's literally nothing else I can get out of here, right? Oh, okay. I guess there is the Hercule statues as well. That's another thing that I would go to buying, but I think I would probably prioritize these first. So definitely this medal first, because obviously it's going to be a very long time before I max these out to all 9s, especially because I'm still using them as I level up ES Goku's, Hercule Boo's, and Krillin Vegeta's. I believe all 3 of them do use those medals. And then, same with this guy. Probably not going to use as many of those over time, but he is a little bit, a little bit more rare to see units that actually need the Supreme Kai medal there. Okay, so with all of those, that's good. And then, yeah, we can buy these gravity chambers. Again, not like a danger of running out or something, but it's just good for collection purpose, I suppose. And then we've got 68 coins left. These cost 3 apiece, so we're going to need 300 more coins in order to get all of these platinum statues. 100 for those. Okay. It's likely that this will feed the rest of our need then for these coins, because I highly doubt that in the next I guess, what would it be, like 2 weeks-ish, we're gonna get 400 more of these coins, right? Because there was about the 100 that I just spent here, and then prior to that I had spent maybe like 600-ish total. So if you factor in that we've only earned about 700 or 800, I think it's highly unlikely that we get another 400 on top of that, right? That seems a little bit excessive. But maybe I will be surprised. But anyway, if I end up buying all of those Hercule statues, then yeah, literally I'll be to the point where like I just don't have any use for any of this stuff. And I guess at that point, like I said, I will probably just buy some of these medals here just to have some dupes, I guess. Oh, but even then, these are 1 time each. Oh, wow, okay. Interesting. That honestly makes me want to pick up this medal. Do I even have a copy of it? Oh, I don't have a copy of this medal, because we were given 1 copy of this medal, but I did use it to do the awakening. So actually, just for collection purposes, because I do want to own every medal in the game, I think I am going to buy a copy of that. And then I guess I have the same curiosity here. Yeah, I don't actually have the Easy A medals for this Gogeta, because the only set I've ever earned I used to Easy A him. So, okay. Instantly just put myself in a predicament there, didn't I? Whoops. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll go ahead and buy this one. And then now I need to just pray that we at least get enough coins added for me to have 50, which I don't think will be a problem at all. I'll probably just get that from daily logins alone, right? And then I'll be able to pick these up too. Okay, shoot. Didn't realize that was something I was going to want or need. Kind of funny. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically it with the mission rewards, but like there hasn't been tickets, right? The other thing that there hasn't been is anything interesting happening in my account as far as Dokkan Day goes, right? Because, after the reverse update, I had to refarm all of the SSR copies of all the units in the game. And then I had to, what missions have we not collected here? What is going on? Oh, it's a rank up mission. Got it. Got some meat there. Cool, we can go spend that momentarily. So yeah, I was working on all of the SSR copies of units, so I had some different strategies that I was employing in order to get all those units done in the quickest way as possible on Dokkan Day, and so, I was making content around that. Again, like I said, we had the summons and stuff like that. And then I guess after all of those units were finished, I had began the Epic Showdown Goku strategy, and that definitely shook up, the kind of meta of what I was doing with my account every day. And there was a lot of experimentation that was going around with the way I was building those characters and stuff. And the team builds that I was doing and the strategy that I was using to link level at the time. So there was a lot of that going on. But then things kind of settled. Oh, well, actually not yet. Then the rank update happened, and we got access to rank 2K. And then Dokkan Day became exciting again, because now we are getting rank ups for the first time in however many years, right? So there was just always reasons to post content on Dokkan Day for things. But now that, the Epic Showdown Goku strategy had just been going at its stagnant rate, and I've already talked 100,000% about it. I've literally said everything that I possibly can say about it, and this would be the umpteenth video if I went into the whole thing again. It just doesn't feel necessary for me to make that exact same video over and over and over every Dokkan Day. And, now that I'm well into the rank grind, it's not quite as exciting to see the level ups. Pretty much once I got past, like, rank 1300 or so, I was kind of over it. And, I assume that the buzz of the whole rank 2000 thing has kind of worn off. So it doesn't really feel like basis for making content. Of just like, look, here, I'm going to gain 40 or 50 more levels on Dokkan Day. Yay, exciting, right? Like, not the greatest. But, alas, again, things have changed. If you notice, my team is not currently only Epic Showdown Gokus. So, we have actually made an adjustment here. And this, again, is something that I've already talked about in a previous video. I've been mentioning it slightly here and there over a couple of videos I made recently. But basically, what I have decided is that the Epic Showdown Goku strategy is just too slow. because there's only 4 awakening states that he has access to. Well, there's 5 he has access to, but one of them's pointless, right? Because it has the exact same links as a different awakening state on the card. So there's only 4 that you should be using of him at a time to get all of the unique links off of the card link leveled. But that means that the other 2 units on your team are not units that you are link leveling, and that hurts your pace a lot. Also, while you're farming all 4 of those units, you only have 15 unique links because he has access to 15 links on his card, right? So that means you're doing an entire team worth of grinding for 15 links, which is a max of 15,000 power level, and that's so little compared to the average team, which is 6 characters that each have 7 links. That's 42,000 power level. So you've just shot down your like total potential for power level by so much. So though your total gains will be higher over time, the speed is just exponentially slower. It's so bad. And that was kind of agonizing to me, just doing that over and over. I was watching, you know, on the Dokkan Stats website and you know, tracking my progress every 3 days as the bot updates, you know, and gives us like our power level progress and stuff, and just seeing how little progress I was getting compared to some other players who are doing these other, you know, grinding multiple free-to-play unit strategies. And yeah, so I kind of caved, and I was like, you know, if I ever actually want that #1 spot in power level, and I want that to happen sometime before 2029, then I need to get a move on with this. So I have decided that it is a good idea for me to re-acclimate to this power level strategy. We are going to basically be readjusting again, adding back the Hercule Boo and Krillin Vegeta that we were once upon a time grinding. And now our power level is going up much quicker again, because now we have access to not 15 but only 12 links between the 3 Epic Showdown Gokus, since we've taken one of the awakening states off. So we lose 3 links there, but then we're adding 26 between these 2 characters. So we get a lot more power level here, right? Just overall, right? So it's working out pretty well so far. My Dokkan Stats, like my bot updates, haven't actually been the most massive, for a couple of reasons. Because, I mean, one, it's only been a couple of weeks since I have made this, you know, like, final decision and added these guys back to the team. But there have been a couple things. One, it's the middle of the anniversary, which means there's a lot of other content to play. So, you know, as much as I want to be able to just sit here and grind links all day, there are a lot of other things that I want to do in Dokkan. The other thing that I mentioned, like, at the beginning of the videos, I had other things going on in my life, so, you know, normally it would be Dokkan all day, every day, 24/7, hyper, super focused, and now it's Dokkan as much as I possibly can, and it's very, very focused when I can, but sometimes it's a little bit distracted too, right? So, just the grind is, instead of being this S tier god rank grind, is now just like an A+ grind instead, right? So I've lost a little bit of it there. But then the other thing is that I have been grinding the Whis event like absolute craziness, right? So if we go in here to items, let's see, what's it going to be under? Probably treasure. Yeah, okay. So right now I have 10,250 of these tickets from the Whis event. I have been grinding this event like crazy because one of my current goals is to be able to collect all 360 unique equips out of that event. I think I need about 25 more, and then I will be done. The progress on that has slowed down quite a bit, because when I was at about 6,000 runs or so, I made my last video on the Whis event, and at that point, I want to say I was like 40 or 50 equips away from being done with all of them. So it's still going to be at least a couple thousand more runs, likely quite a few more than that, though. I would not be surprised to see this number hit 20,000 before we're done, just because, again, the odds of me getting, you know, fishing for that very last equip that I haven't gotten yet, you know, the odds are just going to be astronomical to pull that actual one. So yeah, it's probably going to be a while on that one. But because I have not been grinding quest stages, I have not been giving myself access to as good of link level rates, right? The Whis event is still a decent place to grind links. It's not terrible for it. With the link level rate of 1.25, it's definitely going to give you, you know, a marginally better rate than like 33.2 on Z-Hard or 39.3, which are two of the most common places people are link leveling these days. It's just still going to be blown out of the water by 38.7 with that 3.25 link level rate. It's just massive in comparison, right? Look at me. Just instinctively on autopilot went into the Whis event. I meant to go back into the time chamber. That's hilarious. Whoops. Let's see if we get a god equip here, I guess. That was a total accident. I swear by it. I don't even think that that's because we were talking about the Whis event. I think that that was genuinely just like a reflex. Just autopilot where I go. Okay, not a god equip. Totally fine, though. Would have been cool to just pull one randomly right there. Okay, get back in here. So yeah, I still have been getting a decent amount of power level, because of, again, the addition of those characters, and it's surprising that my you know, rate of increase of power level is still going up right now, despite link leveling basically exclusively on the Whis event, right? If I have like a section throughout my day where I know that I'm not going to be tending to my phone like every second, and I'm kind of preoccupied with another task that takes my attention, then I'll switch to quest, because 39.3 does take quite a bit longer to clear than the Whis event. So any idle time that I have on my phone just feels better spent if it's auto running a stage that's going to do something lucrative for my account, right? So I have done, I want to say, since the Whis event released, maybe like 150 runs on quest, which typically that would barely break a day. Like, I would do more than that in a day on 39.3 on an average day. So, yeah, that's nothing. That's like nothing. And most of my gameplay has been going directly into the Whis event. So yeah, that's just me saying that I don't think the link level rate is that bad. It also speaks to how much more lucrative the total power level potential is of the team that I'm using now versus what I was using with ES Goku's only, right? So yeah, that's kind of the main difference of, you know, my grind then versus now. Something that I will mention, which you could go back and watch this and it would just be a hilarious and unfortunate thing. Man, what video would that have actually been? It was one of the videos around the time right before the reverse update happened. Or maybe it was right after the reverse update happened. It was one of those videos. Ooh, I'm actually gonna have to search my brain for which one that was. Because in one of those videos, I did show off me getting rid of a bunch of Hercule Boos, because I had decided to go directly into the ES Goku strat, and that I wasn't going to be utilizing these guys anymore, because I had come to the conclusion that eventually all of the Hercule Boos and Krillin Vegetas that I had already grinded to link level 10 were eventually going to be deleted anyway, so I decided there was no point in you know, link leveling all the ones I had ready to go farmed up. So I just bobbed all of them. And there was like 100 of those units. And now, look, here we are now, where I'm re-grinding these units again. And so I've had to go and grind up a bunch more. Right now I have 50 copies of each ready to go, which is plenty enough for now. And then, you know, once I get low on these again, then we'll refill if need be. But I'm trying not to gain any more of these for now. Until I need to, just because my box space is looking a little bit scary at the moment. We are kind of closing in on no space left. Now, I do have a bunch of garbage from all my anniversary summons. I still do have my ticket summons to do, but we're going to wait all the way until, you know, we earn our final tickets for the anniversary to do those. So yeah, I have some stuff to clear up here. We probably have about 400 slots left. That are sitting free, but the other thing is that there's the anniversary friend summon, and with the new god equips that I have on my Yamcha, I am getting a decent amount of friend points, and I've probably accumulated, I think, up to like 27 million, 26 million, something like that. So I'm going to have quite a few summons to do there as well. And I will need a little bit of extra box space for that, so that is going to be a bit of pain. Something else that I plan to do to help myself with that, and give myself a little extra box space, now that it is Dokkan Day, and I am going to have a pretty massive increase in my power level over the next 24 hours. Right now we're at 10 p.m. on the starting day of Dokkan Day, so still quite a few hours left here. I am going to get rid of a bunch of units. So basically one thing that I want to make my goal, in fact, we should actually pop over to the Dokkan Stats website for this so I can show off specifically what I'm talking about if you're not super familiar. Okay, so one thing that I want to make my goal here is to always have pluses for every single update roll, right? So every single iteration of like these 3-day updates where it pulls and then compares your power level now to from the previous update, I always want to have a plus. And that is my main goal here. I'm going to keep going back here because there's a couple of examples of players getting a minus here, which essentially means that their power level went down. And I want to try to, you know, eventually flush all of these extra units out of my box that I don't plan on keeping without ever having my power level go down. Okay, yeah, like this. Poor boy. Brenwin, what happened, buddy? I got to imagine that this was finally taking the L and biting the bullet on either the reverse update garbage that, you know, was unfortunately added to our boxes, or it was, you know, making a switch up in decision on, you know, having previously collected family tree units, so, you know, one in every slot for all the character growth charts and stuff, and then deciding to go back on that in efforts to, you know, utilize box space in a different way. Regardless, this definitely indicates that, you know, this player deleted a bunch of units. And that's just really sad to see. And I don't want that happening to my power level ever. Obviously, this is a pretty massive example of this. 1.86 million is crazy. Like, that is so much power level loss overnight. That's insane. I think the more typical examples that you'd see is something like this with Lotad, where it's only like 100k, right? So it's not insane. You're going to get this back in like another 2 updates or so. It's like a week of grinding. You might be able to get that back depending on what strategies you're using. But still, I just do not want to have any minuses at all. So the previous update, the very last one that we had, I was at 28,079,000. So if we go back in game real quick, we can double check. I'm currently at 28,145. So I have already gotten quite a bit of power level on Dokkan Day alone, and then I guess, I mean, that update was like yesterday. So I had already earned some other power level, you know, post that update. It's already been like almost a day and a half actually since that update. So, but yeah, so basically what I'm going to do is once I'm done with all my Dokkan Day grinding, when Dokkan Day ends, I am going to delete a bunch of units. I'm going to start with, rares. Let's see. Normals and rares. So I have this tag here, Zeno-sama. And this just has every single unit that I plan to get rid of. I've already gone through my box, pulled out all of the lower copies of everything, and this is everything that does not have any hidden potential system investment, and it's nothing exclusive, right? So any type of exclusive characters are not included in this mess, which I will specify does mean characters you literally cannot get. So it's just the World Tournament SRs. I think actually for now I didn't put any World Tournament characters in here because I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do with that. I might still hang on to my entire World Tournament collection just as a separate thing. We'll see though. That's still up for debate, but they're definitely not in the conversation as of now. I would first have to get rid of all of these units, which I guess we can go here so you can see how many there are. There's like 1,300 units in here. I would have to first replace all of these units before I go into the conversation of getting rid of World Tournament units. Maybe? Oh no, I'm lying to you because there's a bunch of World Tournament units right here. Holy moly. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back through this box, because I don't think I want to get rid of the World Tournament units yet. Just because there's so many other things that I can possibly get rid of. And that's kind of a more special collection, just because of Grinding World Tournament heavy. You get the Satan signatures to be able to buy the dupes of these characters and stuff. It's kind of a big flex for another grind going on in the game, right? So maybe I'll have to readjust that. But regardless, like I said, the exclusive units are not in here. So the World Tournament SRs and rares are not in here because you literally cannot summon for them anymore, right? It's impossible to get them. In fact, did I go ahead and put their lower copies? I think when I made this tag, I was feeling really itchy that day about box space and about Migate's power level and about, you know, just everything. So I might have actually pulled the trigger on like throwing those units in here just to be like, nah, we got to clear the box space. It doesn't appear that I did, which is good, because I don't plan to get rid of those, right? Yeah, so I guess if we look here between normals, rares, and SRs, so for the normals, right, I still plan to keep a top copy of every unit in this, every single unit in the game, no matter what it is. So we're only going to be getting rid of this, and we are definitely going to be keeping that for now. Maybe there will come a day where I do end up getting rid of some of these very, very, very low rarity units that definitely have no use case in game. But yeah, that's not the conversation yet, right? So all of these are lower copies of things, and there's already like 349 units here that are just easy get rid ofs for me, because I have exact duplicates of these that are awakened to their higher state, that are also, you know, ready to go, link level 10, max SA, and everything in my box. So this is all literally only here for show, and for power level, I guess. But the problem is, all of these units have like no links, right? You know, 5, 4, 6, 6, 5, 1, 3, 1, yeah, 4, like, there's just such low amount of links here, and there's no Dokkan Awakenings attached to them, so that's not helping me farm, you know, up the Dokkan Awakening leaderboard either, and, you know, obviously, I can get a lot more power level out of, like, an ES Goku, per se, so yeah. What I'm going to be doing at the end of my Dokkan Day grind is I'm going to come in here to this box, and I'm going to Baba as many of these as I can, and still stay above that 2879 threshold, so that when the next update rolls through, I still get a positive mark here. So we're gonna have this really, really funny thing where I actually managed to get, even though it's a Friday into a Saturday, and I work in the restaurant business, I managed to get both of those days off, which is like a miracle. So I will be able to do the full 24-hour Dokkan Day grind, which is awesome. And my update is not going to reflect that at all, because all of the power level that I gain over this next day is just going to be immediately deleted by getting rid of a bunch of those units. But that is good, just because of, again, like I said, I plan to do all of those friend point summons. And right now, you can see, there we go, I've got 26 million friend points, so this is going to be a lot of summoning, and the more box space I have available to me to be able to get these done, the better. So, yeah, that's what that is looking like. I guess you guys probably won't really see that part on video, because I'm already making my Dokkan Day video here, so I'm probably just going to do that off camera. Not these summons, I'm talking about the getting rid of all of those characters, right? And just kind of having my power level go back to deficient. But, I mean, it'll be reflected in the bot, so I'm sure I'll talk about it at some point in a future video. We'll go look at the Dokkan Stats website and point out, you know, the instance where that happened. But yeah, so that's going to be my plan for basically every Dokkan Day moving forward. I'll try and grind heavy, and then get rid of a bunch of units, and then just kind of default back to 0 on whatever gains I got on Dokkan Day without going deficient. So hopefully that will be a decent strat toward getting rid of a lot of those units and clearing up some extra box space for me in preparation for that future grind, you know, that we have coming up, just to fill the box space with these other units. Okay, so I think that's about everything that I have for you guys on Global. We don't really have much else to talk about here for the Global Dokkan Day. Yeah, I think we went over everything. I'll still ponder in my mind a little bit if I need to, if I forgot anything, but I'm pretty sure that's just about everything. So, the other thing, let's go ahead and switch over to the JP version now. The other thing is that we have been playing the JP version pretty heavily as of recent as well. So I did put this version down for a few months. I took a pretty big break from it. I wasn't really touching it. And then, I don't know, something was calling to me. I can't even remember why I actually decided to pick it back up, but I did. Actually, I think I remember the reason was because of all of the changes I was going to be making with my spending habits and stuff on the global version. I decided that I wasn't really going to be summoning anymore, so that I could prioritize using all of my stones for link leveling purposes instead, which I have still pretty much mostly stuck to. There's obviously just been some, a V2, a V3, and a V4, and maybe even a V5 on that plan, because just money things and just discovering that, like, 38.7 isn't it, and I should be, holding my stones for more, like, stamina, lucrative stages, and also the whole, like, box space thing with packs, and that I should be increasing my box space, and I have to spend money in that place now, too, and yada yada. But basically, all culminates to, there is no way in heck that I can ever justify spending dragon stones on summons on the global version. That is just not a thing that I am planning to do anymore. And even throughout this anniversary, I did pick up quite a few of the ticket packs, specifically for the ability to gain box space, and then, as an indirect result of that, I was able to do some summons, and I did pick up a couple of the anniversary headliners. But aside from that, like, I think I want to say, specifically because it's the anniversary, and because these are, like, characters that are essentially supposed to be able to carry you through the year, I justified spending about 300 stones on summons. So, oh no, cuff me, take me off to jail. But other than that, like, I'm not doing any anniversary summons at all. We are going to leave that alone. But I figured with that being, like, my new fate for the future, and imagine there's a celebration that comes up with a pretty hype, TUR Dokkan Fest, and then they release the Peel-Off Trove packs with the tickets. The tickets don't have box space, which means I will not be buying the tickets. And then obviously I'm not going to be summoning with stones, because it's not like a massive major celebration with some, amazing character. I can't justify it. I'm basically just going to be fully skipping that. So it would be nice to have a stockpile of stones ready to go on JP, so that I could at least summon for it on JP, and maybe we can make a video around it there, and then I can still, like, have content, right? So that was the idea of why I was like, okay, maybe I should still continue to play the JP version, just so I can farm whatever stones are still available in it, and whatnot. Obviously, it's kind of going balls to the wall. It would be just as easy for me to put it away, and then if a celebration like that occurs, then I could just pick the game up and grind for a little bit, catch up on some EZAs, catch up on some challenge content, and then have a stockpile of stones to go in and do a little summon video. Sure. But I don't know. I just like the idea that if I'm going to be playing the game at all, I really would rather just get it complete, because that was once upon a time my goal for the JP version. So I think we will kind of get it there again. So on that note, what does completion look like for the JP version of the game? Well, one of the biggest things, so we still need to get all of the content done. We do have still a decent chunk of challenge content that needs to be finished here. You can see we have been grinding this pretty heavily through the anniversary. We've got 19 out of the 22 of these EX missions completed here. Almost all of the Dokkan event missions are done. I did one run through with a team for all of them, and then any of the ones where I missed that, I think it's all like, oh well, that one's actually mission C, whoops. But it's all these other ones are like mission D that I was missing out on, which is just like the damage one. I'm not going to bother going back and like manually playing them to try and get them or whatever. I'm just going to leave these. That's not really a big deal. The main thing was to get the big chunk of all of those medals, which I have gotten here. So that is totally fine there. And then, yeah, if we kind of scroll down here, you'll see that there's, we're pretty close to complete. So yeah. As far as the EZA missions, the only thing we have left is I just don't have this Tech Vegito Blue. So the very next time that I get the opportunity to get him, which who knows when that's going to be, he's kind of in that era of unit that is a little bit too new to be posted as just like a redstone unit that they're giving you. And he's far too old to still be on banners, right? Even his Easy A at this point is so old that he's just not really around on banners. So outside of being able to pull him, luckily with like some type of worldwide celebration ticket on some, massive pool of Dokkan Fest banner that, I might be able to snipe and get him or something. There's basically not going to be an opportunity for me to get this guy for a very long time. So we'll see. But eventually I'll pull him, and then I'll be able to get that mission done there. We are still quite a few days behind on this. It looks like I still need about 150 days of doing my dailies here in order to get all of these missions done. So that one is time gated. I'm not really counting these two because they're time gated, right? But there are some seriously serious stages. New. Did they add a new seriously serious? Oh, I'm just tripping. I just hadn't looked at those. Okay. Those weren't actually new. And then there is a couple of festival missions that I need to do here on the JP version. Have I not cleared festival at all? I think I actually might have not cleared festival at all. Yeah, because I just have the missions for getting up through stage 45, but I haven't actually cleared it on JP yet. So yeah, got a little bit of that to do. That should be fun. I haven't touched Giant Form Clash at all here, and then the brand new iterations of Red Zone and Supreme Magnificent Battle. I made sure to do all of, get caught up on all of the stages prior to the revamp, so I earned all the extra power level from doing those stages, but then they all revamped, so now I need to replay all the stages. I've done a couple of them. I was first prioritizing sniping the stages. Oh, this is just the missions. We're not in the actual event. But I was sniping the stages that had missions tied to them. So I've done like 4 or 5 of them so far. But I do need to still do the rest of them here. And then I haven't really touched this at all. So we have to do basically that entire thing. And then there's a couple more anniversary related content things in here. But that's basically it, right? We're pretty much done. Everything in here is all Peton Battle. And this is one thing, like, I don't care what you have to say about it. Oh, and then there's some 4,000 days stuff, too, is what that is. Yeah. So it's Peton Battle in 4,000 days. Obviously, we are very, very, very far off from 4,000 days. I would easily bet that I'm never going to get to 4,000 days on this account. Not worried about that kind of a thing. Those kind of like completion stretch goals. Again, anything that's time gated, I'm not really counting. It's just the things that I can actually do straight up. And so that's why I'm not really counting Peton either, because even if I started now with Peton in its current state, which is actually better than ever, where, there's 3 series available to you throughout the iteration of Peton existing, and in the 2-week time period they give us to grind Peton now, you can actually complete all 3 series from scratch. I've seen players do it on this last Peton battle. It is possible to do. So I could do that if I wanted to. The problem is the versions are synced, which means every time I have to go through the Peton battle hell on global, there is no way I am also touching it on JP. It's just not happening. That is not I'm not going to make my life that, right? I am definitely addicted to and obsessed with this game, and I have modified my lifestyle over the last, 9 years at this point, more and more and more to be able to allow this game, deeper roots in my life. And that's just one line I will never cross, is playing Peton Battle on 2 different versions of this game at the same time. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So I will never touch Peton on the JP side. That's just always going to sit and be how it is. But all of the other missions in this tab are done. We've got all the Supreme Kai trials done, and then as far as the Portal of Memories goes, it's just the heroes EZAs, because you actually need to obtain the heroes characters in order to get those missions done, which again, just don't have the characters, probably won't ever, be able to get them at this point. And even if they do come back, it's not like I'm going to have thousands of stones available to just blow on those banners the next time they come back and get all the units, right? That would definitely be something I would need to spend money for, and I'm never going to put $1 into the JP version of the game. So probably just going to have to take the L on these. And then for these last couple of months where I put the game down, a couple of things that I missed out on were these free-to-play EZAs that happened. So I haven't actually done these Extreme Z areas yet. And unfortunately, because we're in this really random and weird anniversary that doesn't even really feel that much like an anniversary, they didn't return shit for content. So all of these EZA areas just didn't return. There's nothing free to play that came back, which is fantastic. Even though the Daima story event came back, and it's a Daima anniversary, they didn't return the Daima EZA area that EZAs the characters that you drop from the Daima. Oh yeah, I have very different reasons why I think that this is a shit anniversary than most people. But yeah, holy moly, so dumb, so dumb. So yeah, haven't done those, and then it's honestly just been forever that I've been waiting for an opportunity to do the Hero Extermination EZAs. I've chipped away at these a little bit, but I just don't have enough of the keys to be able to finish all of these stages, unfortunately. So those ones will sit as well. So that's basically it as far as content goes. I do have like all of the Dragon Ball stories fully finished. The quest mode is obviously fully finished. As far as panel missions, all that's here is just like the current ones. Oh, we can actually get these now. Oh, we can get these now. I didn't even realize. With the greatest tours that opened up and stuff, we have access to the rest of these. Okay, well, after Dokkan Day, this is going to be my next mission. Looks like we have a ticket summon video on the way, because the free anniversary tickets that they give us, I was planning to just wait for my last little bit of these, do the one multi that I have left with these on the global version, and then drain all those tickets. So we have that coming up. Look forward to that very soon. But yeah, all of that is done. So, aside from that stuff, the only things that I am really targeting as far as account completion is concerned, there's a couple things. So one is to get to 3 million power level, because I want to be able to earn all of the power level bonuses, right? I want everything that's available to us here. So you have to get to 3 million in order to earn that. I am very, very close to having everything at this point, right? We've got 2.89 out of the full 3 million here. So we're only missing a small handful of these power level bonuses here, which it looks like the only thing left, we're in this last thing, is just the boost timer going down. And funny enough, it goes down by like nothing, right? Because I want to say, by the time you've earned the full boost timer like discount, you get like 45 minutes off or something like that, or it's like 20 minutes off. Is this 1200 seconds? Is that what that is 1200 seconds? I can't math. What even is 1200 seconds? 1200 seconds, if we divide that by 60, will give us how many minutes? It's 20 minutes. Okay. So, yeah, you literally get 20 minutes off the 8-hour timer. So it's literally nothing. So I basically have all the boosts already. But again, just as far as like cosmetically completing the account, we're going to get to 3 million power level so that we've earned all of that stuff, which grinding on Dokkan Day is definitely going to help with. It's going to make that a lot easier for us. And the other looming thing in the background here is the titles. I want to have all of the titles earned. Now, again, there are going to be some titles that I can't get, right? So if we go to unacquired here, okay, so we've got the... Oh, this is just one of the ones I need to get for doing all the Seriously Serious stages, which I'll catch up on those eventually. Trying to stay focused on time-limited content, which there's a bunch of in the anniversary right now. Annoyingly, a bunch of time-limited, like, challenge content, so I can't really focus on this older stuff. Also, the Red Zone doing what it did a little while ago kind of pulled my focus from other things I was working on. Just because that was, like, a time-gated thing as well before those stages went away. And then, obviously, we went over the whole festival thing. I still need to clear that and do the Super Class and Extreme Class mission. Which actually now there is a cool team build that you can do with the new 11th Anniversary Super Saiyan 4s as your leader. The physical 7th Anniversary Super Saiyan 4s on the team. The STR Blue Boys. AGL Majin Vegeta. The Extreme Tech Broly. Not the Wrathful Broly, but the like base form Broly that does the turn 1 transformation into Legendary Super Saiyan, and then the Int LR Broly. Those 6 units actually covers the missions for both of the Super Class and the Extreme Class mission at the same time. So I might attempt to do that. And that I actually still need to get the Extreme Class mission done on Global, so I'll probably do that there. And then Yeah, that would give me all of the missions that I need for Festival on the JP version, so I'm probably going to do that. And then the only other things in here are the 3,000 and 4,000 day titles, which again are time-gated, so I am not counting them as something that I need. If we go into the event ones, there should be a couple of oddities in here for sure. There is obviously still not really even a lot, but some stuff in here, just because I have not cleared all the content in the game yet. But like, what is this? This is going to be an interesting tag to figure out, because like once I've cleared all the content, you would hope or assume that I just have all of these, right? They usually make these pretty one-to-one for like clearing content and missions. You'll also have this stuff done, but I know that there's a couple of these in here. Yeah, like this one. Okay, I think this one might be for the Legendary Goku event. I'm not 100% sure which one this is, but you need to do it with having a team cost of 316 or less. So that is kind of an interesting mission that we'll have to take down, which I'm thinking, I don't actually know the full verbiage here. I do see a 6 right here, so I'm a little bit concerned that you also need to have 6 units on your team, which could be a little bit of, like, we could technically cheese it, because this is going to have us, I'm pretty sure one of them has us run like the Legendary Goku event, and then it's like the GT Legendary Goku event has one, or the Vegeta event has one. And nowadays we have units that are so strong, they could just one-shot each phase of it. So you could literally just run a leader and a friend leader and have all Cybermen on your team, and then as long as your starting rotations are fine, you're just going to win the event, because you put them in slot 1 and they'll KO the phase every time, and you would definitely be below the team cost needed, right? But I'm worried that that actually means you need 6 units on the team. So this is something that I'll do eventually. Little, you know, odd units like that. Yeah, so that actually is for the Legendary Goku event there. So yeah, there's a couple of weird things like that. Okay, yeah, here's another one. This one's for the GT Legendary Goku event. And again, I don't know what this is. Is that a time? What, it's a 6 and then there's a 25. The other one didn't have a, I don't know. Again, I'll look these up on the wiki. I'll figure out what all of these are that I end up needing, but those I'm not going to worry about until I'm actually done clearing all the content and I'm caught up. The Extreme Z battle titles, I do have every single one of these, because I have gotten all of the TUR, you know, the LR EZAs you only need to get to stage 10, and then you earn the 1 title for them, and then for the TUR EZAs, you have to get them all the way up to stage 77, right? You get the one for clearing it at stage 30, the one for getting it to 50, and then for 77. I have gotten every single TUR EZA in the JP version of the game, on both versions of the game, by the way, up to rank 100. And the reason why I did it specifically on JP, not only was to earn the titles, but also to make sure that I had an extra stockpile of Zenny, so that I didn't actually run out. Because there was a point where I was grinding through characters very heavily, where I was kind of completing my entire box and, like, you know, stoning for stamina, and, or I guess meeting for stamina, and, you know, Dokkan Awakening a lot of characters and getting a bunch of, like, sub-EZAs taken care of and stuff, and I was getting, like, dangerously low on Zenny, so the points where I had to actually stop and grind EZA stages in order to earn more. So just to make sure that that's not going to be a problem, I have implemented the same system that I do on Global, where as soon as the EZA comes out, I get it all the way up to stage 100. The only difference is, on Global, I have gotten my LR EZAs all the way up to stage 30, and on JP, I just leave them at stage 10. Not bothering with them, I guess. But it keeps me plenty sufficient on Zenny here, so all good. I do need to actually go clear all these new tags. Looks like I haven't done that in quite some time. There's so many in here now. But yeah, I'll do that eventually. Not a big deal. Have a couple of World Tournament titles here. Also, not really a big deal. These, you know, come and go as they please. You can see how few World Tournaments I've actually played on this version of the game. And obviously, I usually just grind it for the mission clears and then stop. There's no reason for me to go for ranks or anything on this version. Just want to be able to get the mission rewards and tap out. But obviously there's nothing incomplete about it, because they will take away the ones that you don't earn, so they don't sit there as an eyesore forever, which is nice. Obviously the quest ones are all complete here, and then wait a minute, I just realized something. Can you filter these? Yeah, they take the button away, so you can't actually filter them. That would be cool if there was still a way to see the ones you haven't acquired, and it would, like, open these and then have, like, a little drop-down list with the few, like, listed below that you need or something. That would be cool. Okay, so now the big one. The big one for the titles is the special titles. We're very close here. We are very, very close to being done with this. This is what I have been actively spending the most amount of time doing on the JP version of the game, because, you know, I only have like maybe an hour a day that I set aside to grind content on this version of the game, because if I'm doing anything else, well, the first thing is, unless I'm just out doing something leisurely with a friend and we're hanging, then the second phone that I use for my JP grinding doesn't leave the house, right? Like if I go to work, it doesn't come with me on the way. If I'm going out doing anything important, like it doesn't come with me. I leave it at home. So for most days, it just stays at home. And then while I'm home, if I'm actively grinding anything on the global version, meaning like playing challenge content, doing something that's not just sitting there running on auto, resetting stages over and over, then I am not doing challenge content on the JP version of the game, and I only use stamina until it's run out, and then I don't like spend to refill it, because I am trying to stockpile stones on this version of the game, and it's fully free to play, right? So that means that there's not really much that I can do with this account, but slowly chip away at these as I and again, as I use stamina. That's basically where I'm slowly chipping away at these, and then while I'm actively playing the game, I'll be doing like the other challenge content. So the other thing is there's two titles down here at the bottom. This one here is for the weapon supers, that infamous elusive title that none of you have, not one single one of you have. Prove me wrong. Yeah, so we're working on that one. And then this one, funny enough, is the Key Blast Super title. I don't actually have the Key Blast one done either, which is the oddest thing ever. So, aside from when I spend stamina and work on the, I guess for those of you who don't know, I didn't even specify, these are the missions that require you to use each category in the game 300 times. So you have to use a full team of units that are all on that category up to 300 times for literally every single category in the game. And we are down to these last few here, and most of them already have a decent chunk of progress on them too. So we should be done with these very soon. Now, I've been hammering away on these during Dokkan Day, and that's why you could see at the beginning of when we switched over to JP that I was using that Universe 11 team, because Universe 11 is one of the... Oh! It finished. I didn't even notice it finished. Yeah, so Universe 11 I actually finished at some point during this video. Probably because I was grinding this while we were talking on the global version, so I guess I just finished it and didn't realize. But the other thing is that this is Defenders of Justice, so I'm still working on this one simultaneously with that same team. And then we just have these last few left to get those done. So the other thing that I'm doing when I don't have stamina to spend on, you know, the category uses 300 times, and then, you know, I'm not actively playing the game to like clear challenge content, I'm working on the weapon super title. That's basically the thing that we are spending day in and day out doing on the JP version of the game. And anytime that I'm about to leave my house, or about to go to sleep, or about to jump in the shower, anything where I'm going to be setting aside the second device for a long time, I will start a weapon super run. And the place that I do that is I actually go into Boss Rush here, and then we go down to Stage 2, and we play that on the hardest difficulty, because it is the fattest event in the game. For 0 stamina, that is going to auto-clear with whatever team, because it's so weak and old at this point, right? But you're fighting all of these Dokkan events back to back to back. So you get, like, 25 minutes of auto time where you're launching, you know, like, I think it's... I've literally sat there and watched it play itself on auto and calculated. I think you're getting anywhere in the realm of, like, 70. It's about 70 weapon super attacks that you'll get throughout the entirety of this thing, each time you do it. Calculating that into the, you know, 77,777 that you need means you have to run this stage about 1,100 times in order to finish. So it's just going to be a lengthy grind that goes forever and ever and ever. I've definitely done hundreds of runs on this at this point, but I don't know if that's looking more like 300 or if that's looking more like 800. I have no idea. I've completely lost count because it's been months of doing this, just idly, you know, sliding this in where I can. So yeah, I've completely lost track, and unfortunately for us, one feature that we don't have on titles is progress bars. So I have no idea where I'm at on that. Eventually, one day, it's just going to pop, and I'm going to be over the moon, because then I will have the Weapon Super title on both versions of the game. You don't have it. Prove me wrong. Yeah, that will be pretty exciting, and I guess I might as well show you. This is the team that I'm using, because at the same time, I am farming Daima, right? So I'm getting my Daima category uses up. Obviously, with this being like a 25-minute clear, it's not like I'm expecting to get all 300 of the Daima runs done here, but again, I told you I need to do this like over 1,000 times. And the other thing, as far as for those one or two clever ones of you that were just thinking, oh, can't you just use the earning the Daima title as a way to know how many runs you've done on this? No, because I've been using Daima teams for a lot of other stuff with anniversary-related content. And when I link leveled a little bit, I used some Daima teams here and there, like for a brief moment, I think. And then also, we're already a lot of runs in on this by the time I created this Daima team. Because remember, Ku is brand new, so I didn't have a full Weapon Super team built and ready to go for, you know, that was full Daima. Before, I just had a bunch of, like, Earthbred fighters ready to go. Now, it still was Dragon Ball Seekers, because we were using a bunch of, like, Bulma Youths and stuff like that. And I think we had, like, the GT Mai on here and stuff. So it was all Dragon Ball Seekers, so we still had the same leader going for us. But it was definitely not a Daima team, is my point. And I had already done hundreds of runs with that. It was only, like, last week that I switched to this Daima team that you see here now. So, yeah, so that's basically how things are going on the JP version. We are getting pretty close to our goals. Now, the only other thing that lingers beyond all of that is rank. Because obviously, we are not even close to rank 2,000. And that is another point of, you know, completion, technically. I kind of want to consider that time-gated content as well. The thing is, most likely, I will continue to grind Dokkan days pretty heavily on the JP version until we are max rank. Because that just does sound like an interesting thing to me. But I'm thinking once we have the Weapon Super title, and then, you know, once I get the Weapon Super title, if I still don't have the Ki Blast Super title, I'm just going to use that same exact strategy on that same stage, but I'll just do a Ki Blast Super team instead, right? And then I'll just farm away on that. So once we have all those titles done, and then we've got all of the other content in the game done, everything that we just went over is fully complete, then at that point, I'm probably just going to be logging in daily. I might not even use my stamina. I don't know. We'll see. Depends where I end up with in the game. Maybe I'll just do my dailies to get my couple of stones and stuff and get out. Maybe I'll be... that might be something that I do, is like target stones only and then not really care too much about other rewards. Obviously, I'll still stay current on any new content that releases and play it and stuff. But as far as like daily missions, I'll just make sure to get my stones and then move on type of thing. I don't really know. I'm not sure. But at the very least, I think what I will do, if nothing else, is grind Dokkan Day. Because that's going to be the easiest way to gain rank, to help us get to that rank 2,000 point, and also to link level characters, right? Because the thing that's happened with doing all these category teams 300 times is that once I've used them 300 times, I stop link leveling the team, right? So basically what that's meant is that we have this, like... I actually don't even know what this looks like on the JP side of things at all. I don't think I've ever checked this a single time, so let's do this for the first time ever right now. That is not the right button. Character list, this one. There we go. Okay, so the link level tag currently has, let's see, we're fully unfiltered, currently has 661 units in it. So that's 661 units that are not yet link level 10 that still need to be. Now, most of these, I would be willing to bet most of these are not at link level 1. A lot of these characters have already been at least halfway link leveled. Some of them are probably pretty close to being finished. And then the other thing I want to check here is how many do we have at max level? Oh, that is surely the wrong one. That's how many are left. Surely. Okay, yeah. That makes a little more sense. So 205 units that we have got at max level. And in fact, on my team building tag, 204. So there's one unit that's link level 10 that isn't on here. I have no idea which one it would be. That's really funny. I wonder if it's a unit that is supposed to be there. Maybe I'll do some investigating to figure out what unit that is a little bit later. It's on a tag, because otherwise it would be here under no tag. So it's got to be on one of them. Interesting. Oh, is it him? Is he not on? Yep, it's him. Well, that was easy. Okay, I'll probably finish him up a little bit later, and then get him ready to go. Okay, good stuff. Good to know. But yeah, so I have link leveled quite a bit, and that's pretty apparent because of my power level. But yeah, I think what I will do as well is I just want to show through here. Oh, also, I just realized there are a couple units here that are on the link level tag that I just had filtered by they were finish. All at max links, and they're still on the link level tag. So we need to take those off, right? Okay, we will take that one off. And then Dispo makes sense because I just finished him during the Dokkan Day grind. Probably, again, like during this video at some point. Okay, now the other thing that I wanted to do really quick was just show off all the units on my link level tag and how many links they're at. Now, I just built this guy today in order to get the raise super attack mission done for Dokkan Day. This was the unit that I raised super attack of, so he is literally brand new to me. But I guess I'll just kind of do a little bit of a... Yeah, it's going to be really choppy as some of these like big ticket LRs animations fail to like load immediately in here. But we can kind of see how many... I guess there's more level 1s in here than I realized, but we are seeing those few that are, like, really highly leveled. Like, every now and then there's one that's at, like, mostly 10s, right? And that's the main thing that I'm trying to highlight here, is that quite a few of these units, at least most of the ones that I would realistically ever use, like any of the good units in here, that are actually, like palatable units you would throw on a team, are mostly done. So as we get, you know, once we're finished with all the category missions, as we go through future Dokkan Days, we will focus all of those units. When we don't have the you know, team building restrictions that we have now, we can just start to pick out all of the units that are really close to being done, or the units that are, you know, are the strongest in our box, and then we'll just keep link leveling that way, you know, moving forward. So yeah, you guys get the idea. Don't need to go through the whole thing, but yeah, so there's been a lot of progress here, and we are well on our way to victory. Okay, alas, I think that is everything that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Dokkan Day. I did mention at the beginning of this video how exhausted I was. I didn't really say why. I only got about 4 hours of sleep last night because I actually went through the process of purchasing a vehicle today. So I was at the DMV for hours and stuff. Some headaches and hiccups there. Headaches and hiccups with the vehicle that are going to continue tomorrow. And I... unfortunately, do not plan to get any sleep tonight because of the whole Dokkan Day thing. So, yeah, I'm going to get back to it. Probably need to get me an energy drink or something. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how your Dokkan Day grinds have been going and how this one is going for you. If you guys have anything interesting that you are, you know, is currently going on in your Dokkan Day metas. Love to hear all about your guys' grinds as well. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. That's going to do it for this one, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.